Welcome everyone to episode 51 of the Video Game Book Club. I'm Tubby Mora, and today I'm joined by Nakuso, Shaishen, and Genji. Say hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Well, this time around, we're going to be focusing on Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. This game was nominated by Genji, and it was selected on the Wheel of Mystery with a 3 out of 12 chance, or 25% chance of winning. Congratulations, Genji. Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion was developed by Snoozy Kazoo, published by Graffiti Games, and was originally released on April 22nd, 2021 for PC and Nintendo Switch. On Snoozy Kazoo's official website, it reads, quote, "Avoid paying taxes, solve plantastic puzzles, harvest crops, and battle massive beasts, all in a journey to tear down a corrupt vegetable government." But that's how the website describes the game. How would everyone here describe the game? And the order of presenting will be Shaishen, Genji, and then Nakuso. And please be advised, there may be spoilers ahead. And with that said, let's get started. Question 1. Describe the game in one sentence.
I would describe Turnip Boy as a tax-evading roguelite RPG for the simple-minded.
I feel like that's an insult. Oh, shoot.
Is that a compliment or is that?
You don't know.
Well, the wonderful and lovable as always Genji, would describe Turnip Boy as a factually accurate journey of a 5-year-old boy turnip, either way, factually 5-year-old turnip boy as he lives his lifelong dream of avoiding taxes, stabbing other vegetables in the eyes, and bringing other people back to life through the power of nuclear waste. Take it away, Nikutsu. Avoid your taxes.
Turnip Boy teaches you that if you rip up enough papers, you too can avoid paying taxes.
All right, question 2. What platform did you play the game on? And briefly describe your playstyle towards the game.
I played it on my phone. So
Nice.
this game was nominated a while ago, and I played it for a little bit on my phone with Xbox Game Pass. And then when I found out, I just played it on PC. My play style, when you're only equipped with one weapon, and that's it.
Mhm.
I played a rogue, glass cannon. You
Okay,
rush
okay.
everything,
Spec.
and yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
Well, I played this game on my partner's Nintendo Switch. I played it on the release OG Switch with a red and blue Joy-Con and sometimes a Pro controller. I played the mage route. I played it as all mages do with a singular weapon, the sword, which eventually gets upgraded into a shovel. I played it not on God mode, and I played it on 1 times damage, so I didn't take the easy route. And I went about ripping up people's papers. I, as a 5-year-old turnip boy, ripped up an entire book with my bare hands.
Dang.
I didn't realize turnips were that strong, but here we are. Don't let them near my delicate human body. But I went around stabbing people in the face. I beat the boss, and then I went and spoke to the 3-eyed cat in order to find all the other papers that I could rip up. I ended off the game by ripping up a complete novel instruction manual on how to pay your taxes, and then I fought the boss.
Dang.
How about you,
Gamer.
Nikut? So describe to me how you did not pay your taxes.
So I played this game on the PS5 using the standard controller.
Mhm.
I did almost everything in the game, from talking to the vegetables to completing every single quest. The only thing I didn't do in the end, or at least finish collecting, was the optional post-games hats for the Limitless Express. Since that didn't come towards the trophies, I was like, all right, I'm good. So I just went on to do everything else, though, and I got a platinum trophy for the VGBC. Another run in the belts. The last one was, well, not a trophy, but the last game that I did everything in was Psychonauts 2. So I enjoyed the game enough to complete it. And yeah, it took about a few sessions to complete, and it was a fun experience. Next.
Question 3. What are 2 things you liked about the game? And we will be alternating for this one.
All right. One thing I really liked is I'm gonna take this first before anybody takes it. Well, it's just how interactive all all the characters were. Just like how much I mean, it was very old jokes, but it was enough to keep you entertained. I just like each character had their own like gimmick and meme, and you know, it's like an iFunny what do you call it? An iFunny Tumblr type joke for like each character.
Okay.
Which was kind of it was pretty fun to enjoy. Just walk around and see these like crazy people, especially JoJo's Bizarre Adventure character.
I see the apple or cherry or whatever it was.
I mean, that was kind of cool. I enjoyed the basically just the whole vibe they give off for the whole entire game. Just like a joking type game that they just like gave to the players. So like, and very self-aware. So yeah, I kind of just enjoyed it. It was just like a, you know, scrolling through a TikTok type thing going on where I'm just playing and I'm like, haha, haha. But yeah, that's one thing I really liked what they put in. Very self-aware, funny jokes that they just put in just to keep your brain fed for a couple hours. I'm done. Just kidding. I want a different one.
I was gonna say what with your answer or just with life in general.
I'm done. Goodbye. Beep boop.
All right, Genji.
So I was one of the things I had on my list was that the game was funny and that, but I don't think there's really much more I can add into it. It's very sort of touched on that quite well. I did like I'd say the accessibility of it. Now, ever since sort of like Day, my partner, and that she's like, no offense to her, but she's not the best video game player in that. And I've realized that accessibility is such an important thing within video games, and that where not everyone's got the same skill level or has the time to sit down and play. And now, while Turnip Boy is not a difficult game, I genuinely like the accessibility features that they had for the game. So whether or not in the menu you could increase your damage, so you can either have 1, 2, or 3 times damage. You can have God mode, which I discovered when messing around with the game. If you take damage, you could turn God mode on and turn it back off, and it will refill all your health. So that's a very neat thing. So you could just quickly refill your health that way. Or even at the end when you've completed the game and unfortunately the dog that you could pet disappears. It's then replaced by a 3-eyed giant mystical cat. It will tell you where things are that you have to rip up so you can still experience the final boss. Because the game doesn't have a map or sort of objective markers in that or sort of things you can mark, it makes it very easy to sort of go, cool, I know I need to go in this general area to find the next thing I have to rip up. The game will never tell you specifically, you need to talk to this character. It's a very general sort of area. And it just means that not only does getting the secret true ending that much easier, but also it means that you're not bashing your head against the wall. For someone who might not be very good at video games, being able to play the game and experience the full story that you've paid your money for, which video games are the only form of entertainment that if you're not good enough at it, you can't proceed. It gives you the ability to experience the entirety of the content you've paid for. And I think that's a really welcome addition to the game. So, okay, so what did you enjoy about not paying your taxes as a 5-year-old boy?
I like the post game. I was surprised to see that there was like the Limitless Express from my knowledge. I looked it up and it seems that was added later. So I just like that roguelite type element. That was just weird to see that they implemented some kind of post game content in the game where they didn't have to. And that allows you to like use different hats and stuff on the train, going through enemies and bosses. And each time you pass through and complete a session, it gets harder with more like enemy elements and different things that they do. So I was like, wow, it actually gives you a reason to do extra things. And then you can collect hats, and some of the hats actually have stats that affect the Limitless Express. So I was like, wow, that's actually really cool that they put that in the game. And, you know, like Genji, you were saying, the cat, one of the best things I love in the games that I played, like in the last, year, the special ones have the what's the best way to say it? The special ones have a good way to allow the player to collect the content and not feel that it's a pain in the ass to collect. A lot of games that I played in the past have had that issue of, oh, if you want to get all these trophies or do all the post game or find everything else, good luck. But I like that the cat allows you to tell you. It just tells you in a way that it doesn't outright tell you. It gives you a hint to find the collectibles that you missed, and that's
Like go
awesome.
to this rundown. Yeah, like go to this rundown house, and you go, "Oh, I know this house that looks run down, but I still need to explore the entire thing in order to find the thing I need to find."
Mhm. Yeah, that was great. So I was like, that was great. The Limitless Express, and also I just like the what was the other thing that you could do at the end?
Hats Limited
Uh,
Express.
Refight the final boss.
oh yeah, refighting the final boss again. Well, I guess that's kind of like it's kind of weird. It is post game, but it's not. But it's like after the
There was
first
more?
time you do the boss.
So once you rip up everything, you have the onion mayor has his second form.
Yeah, because the first time that when you beat, wait, I think you had the
Wait,
trophies.
there's two
right?
bosses in this game?
No, so
Wait.
the onion mayor, you fight him. If you haven't ripped up everything, you fight him once. That's fine. But if you rip up everything, once you kill the onion mayor the first time, he goes into his second form.
Yeah.
Oh, there's two
Yeah, but you
endings?
can. Yeah, but you can even after you beat his second form, you can still go back and refight him. So it's still a boss you can fight over and over.
Hmm.
But yes,
Oh.
he has two forms. One's only
Yeah.
unlockable once you rip up everything.
Yeah. The first ending is more like a fake out ending, and the second one is
Mm.
like the true ending.
Which is
Oh.
evident by the fact that it has on the menu after you beat him the first time, it has continue question mark, and that will only disappear once you've ripped up everything and beaten him the second time. Well, beaten his second form.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get that fake out one. Okay, I was like, what?
Oh.
Guess I'm
Yeah.
a true gamer.
All right.
What?
Okay. Next.
Oh, yeah, rewind. All right. The other thing when I was talking about the funniness is that well, how long did it take you guys beat the game? My Xbox only told me 15 minutes for some reason.
Hour and a half, hour and 45.
Hour 45.
100%. That's like 3 hours.
Okay. Yeah, I really enjoyed that how this game doesn't overstay its welcome. Because honestly, 3 hour game for what they've given, pretty good. Pretty good for someone just to like play and then okay, bye. And just get its full, experience of what they've added to the game for all the characters and the jokes and the dialogue they give out. I feel like this game didn't overstay its welcome and didn't add more game padding for us or for people to play this game. I'm going to talk about it later in my things I didn't like, but 3 hours is good. I know it's a short game. I feel like with what they've had, I feel like it's supposed to be a short game, just so no one just loses brain cells. But yeah, that's one of my things I liked. I was like, okay, yes, game's done. Nice. Good experience. Appreciate it. Okay, bye. Time to play robbing a bank. I'm done.
Okay.
Why do you say it like that?
I had a inkling. So what I'll say is that while yes, the thing that I enjoyed was that while combat wise, it really was just stab your enemy with a sword or stab him in the face with your shovel. There was a variety of gameplay where you had either you had access to your teleporter, so you eventually got a portal sort of thing, very much like a portal reference. But also you had a part of the game where you had to solve a riddle, and that you had sections where you had to roll bombs in a certain way in order to blow certain stuff up. The bosses, there was also some variety to them. One of them you had to try and attract them to the fire. The other one you sort of like was more so rolling bombs towards it. The other one was a mixture between things. I found that while they were very limited regarding your actual weapons and your sort of like your combat, they did try to vary things up regarding riddles and puzzles and that kind of thing. In such a short game, hour and a half to 3 hours, it can still be very quick for the combat to get tedious and annoying, and they fall back on relying through the funniness of the story, which, again, if you find that stuff funny, cool. If not, you'll find the game painfully annoying. But they give you the variety, so that way it's not just, hey, we funny game. It's we do have some attempt at different kinds of combat. So I remember my partner, my partner and I were on the couch playing the game. We had, like, in the carrot riddle or whatever it was, we'd like drawn up a piece of paper, whether with this 3x3 grid. We sort of marked down what ones the carrots had sort of said who was lying, who wasn't lying, and sort of figuring it out that way. It was just a really fun change up of gameplay. So, Nikutsu, what was your final thing that you enjoyed most about not playing your Texas?
I
Wow,
love
good
the
transition.
music. The music was great. It had some jazz in there, had some octane, had depressing piano music when you found out about the nuclear bombs that went off during that game. It was actually super cool in the variety. Also, I love the vocal performances for the credit scene. And also,
Oh,
if you got to the final boss, you have your own theme song that plays. So,
Nice.
like the true final boss, it's like anime theme song. I know I showed Tubby. He was like, "What the heck?"
Amazing.
Yeah, I was like really impressed by all the different ranges and love put into the music. It's like this is a game. I was like, okay. When I first started, the music was like it was okay, but it's like as I started playing more and going to each section, it having its own music, and then like the bunkers having their own music. It was a surprise, and it's a good surprise. So I'm glad that the music, I guess, also like the sound design is also pretty top notch too. So overall, that is my thoughts on the second thing that I liked.
Question 4. What are 2 things you did not like, and how would you improve it? And again, we'll be alternating for this one.
all right. One thing I didn't like,
Yeah.
honestly, the puzzles are cool, but the gameplay very bland. I mean, the enemies aren't as too different. I mean, what, one walks up to you, one shoots more, one shoots this way. But this game felt more of a, what do you call the games where you just talk to people?
Visual novel.
Yeah, it was more like a visual novel to me. Honestly, the combat kind of just got bland
Mhm.
after having to go back and forth to places. It was fun listening to all the dialogue and talking to people, but it felt like those JRPGs where you just walk around, talk to people, but there's no combat. Like imagine that, but there's no RPG elements to it. So it's a lot of talking. So a lot of times all the enemies just became like an annoyances to where, because all you have is a shovel or like a wood sword. So it's kind of just like a stab, trip. And then, I mean, they add a little bit of variety with the bosses and how to beat them and like your watering can. Very simple Legend of Zelda-esque like game.
Mhm.
But honestly, having to go, because I was trying to do all the achievements and having to walk around again, and then, oh, there's the enemy stab. Okay, I'm walking. It just felt too long. Like, I was looking up the game. I found out there was a trick where if you just exit the game and just load back in, you spawn back in the middle of the map. So I was using that a lot.
Nice.
Like, because it's a lot of walking around. You see this enemy, you got to kill him. Okay, get out the way, and then do all this. So I feel like the RPG top-down fighting element that they added to this game was very, very weak, but everything else is very strong. I mean, this, like, if I were to give this game like a score rating of the columns.
Whoa. Calm down.
No. I'm saying, let me finish. If this game, if I give again it's like a score rating with the columns like going down, like storyline, blah blah blah, the gameplay part would be lower than most of them.
Okay, that's where you're going with it.
Yeah, which I'll give it a number score. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's why I really didn't like. I mean, granted, this game is very simple, very easy, very just something short.
So
For the 3 hours, I'll improve it. I mean, adding just the different weapons, right? Just putting more instead of pressing one button, more variety to your weapons. I mean, I feel like they would solve it in the second game because I saw like the weapons and stuff they added.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, and then, but this game, you just have a shovel to swing. All right. Oh, this guy walks to you. This guy shoots you. There's no like how Binding of Isaac did it, right? Each enemy had their own quirk.
Mhm.
like specific quirk, but this one just, especially for like the was it train, unlimited train, infinite train?
Yeah. And
I mean,
yeah.
what? Yeah, I mean they ran up to you. There's something crazy you have to do. It's just simple, super simple, but
I guess
having
the
to walk
onion
back.
boss, in
Yeah.
the train, that one had the most variety out of like different attack. I mean, like enemy wise, I'm talking about.
Yeah. I feel like just going through the story, which I feel like that's where most of the people who play this game are gonna play. It's like, oh, just press one button. Oh, this button's a trip. Cool. And then there's simple puzzles, which I enjoy, little puzzles, but the combat gameplay portion was very, very weak.
Yeah, it was boring.
Yeah, man, Shy Shen, if only you were there for Hades.
Yeah.
It's funny because what you're saying right now, it reminds me of the Moonlighter one. I mean, of course, not as bad as you're describing the gameplay right now, but I see what you mean. I understand what you mean. I got you.
Yeah. Next person talk. No, just kidding.
Okay. Well, this is the next person talking. I was sort of going to touch on the idea of the simplified combat, which the endless train sort of amplifies how simple the combat is. However, I'm going to go on the idea of sort of touching also on what you were sort of saying before. The one thing that annoys me about the game is that there's no run system, and even having a run system outside of boss fights just to get from place to place. I get the game's short and that would shorten things even more. But just going and trying to get those last objectives, it was very frustrating that I couldn't run to where I needed to go because I'm like, I know where this spot is, but I can only walk there. So even if they implemented a feature where you could only run outside of the boss fights and had your normal speed during that, I think that would have made it a lot more enjoyable trying to go from place to place. So yeah, just simply giving you the ability to run outside of boss fights to sort of, just increase your speed would have been chef's kiss, absolute bliss. So, Nikutsu, what is one of the most painful things about avoiding taxes for you?
Well, this is weird. I'm not sure if you guys had trouble, but I died. I don't know if this boss has wrecked me, but Liz, the radioactive like humanoid
Oh, that was
boss,
difficult.
dude, I got freaking destroyed by the boss. I was like, what? But that's not. That's like one part, but it's just the unskippable cutscenes. Like up to that point, well, cutscenes and dialogue. Up to that point, it was like fine, but having to see that boss like 5 times in a row after like trying to figure out how to beat that boss, it was annoying. I was like, why? Why can't I just skip the dialogue after I already seen it, and also with the cutscene after you see it, you have to see it again if you die to it. So that was like one of the few things I was surprised you could just not press start to skip. That's like a standard in a lot of games these days. And I just had to mash through a conversation. And then you know what happens when you're mashing through a conversation? You start up the conversation again by accident.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did that like a few times throughout, and I was like, it's a small quality of life change. Just be able to skip what you already read and already seen a cutscene. So that was my thing that I didn't like. How about you, Genji? I mean, Shy.
Oh, shit. I was going to say, sorry, quickly jumping to butt in, Shy. Even having something as simple as having a retry. So if you die to a boss, because it's not like you have to go and refill your health or anything. So even just a retry, and then like you spawn directly at the beginning of the boss fight. And then if you press no to retrying, you could just go off and do whatever. Just even like something like that to spawn back at the very beginning of the boss fight to fix that problem, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, okay. Go ahead, Shy.
All right. Okay. Other than the funny jokes and little cosmetic things, I felt like collecting all that stuff was pointless. Like, I feel like, you know, the hats and everything. Granted, I don't know what their thing was, but I felt like everything I collected was pointless. I know it was cosmetic, but pointless to what the game, because you just need all these to get the real ending, and then the hats to get all the achievements. and then you get all these cool things. I feel like they could have done something cool with that, you know, like little hats, change a little bit of animations.
Okay.
Well, like the turkey one, like squawks every time you swing.
Oh, I see. Like have it have its own sounds too. Yeah, I never
Yeah.
thought about that. That would be
I guess
cool.
I don't know, because I mean, you collect all of them, and then when you pick one up, it just changes your hat to that, so you can just see all your hats. You're like, oh, cool, cool, cool.
Hmm.
I felt like a lot of things in this game didn't have enough to it. I mean, the things you rip up, funny quirks, but like even like the collecting items and like handing, like all these fetching quests, like doing all this stuff. Honestly, after you get like past the jokes and you're just playing it to beat, all these collectibles just seem like pointless and just like unmeaningful. They said like that.
Just want more substance.
Yeah, more substance to what I'm doing, because I mean, there's a lot of fetching quests in this game, which is basically, I think, every single quest where you have to walk back. That's why I was talking about the whole save and then load back in, and it brings you back to the menu.
Okay.
Like after the humor kind of dies off a little bit, and you're just walking back and forth between all these characters. None of this stuff. I mean, I'm kind of just there to beat the game at that point. There's no like, oh, they're like, oh, thank you. Oh, get my deed. Okay, I've got to walk back here, because I feel like someone who actually didn't know to go back to the menu would have to walk all the way across the map. Like that's why the running thing. I agree with your running thing a lot, but then just a lot of these hats and stuff. Got a little bit more substance to what I'm collecting, what I'm grabbing. Yeah, I don't know if that made sense.
Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, if I were to rate this in columns,
Yeah, go on.
Would you rank it higher or lower than the combat?
it would be a little bit higher than the combat.
Wow.
Fair.
Okay.
Just the stuff you're collecting. Just your menu. Your menu. When you open your menu and you have all this stuff up, it's just these hats. And I would have liked them to, because I was talking about before with all the gameplay, like adding a little bit different effects to your attacks, or even using different weapons. Like the hats could have done that,
Mm-hmm.
Also, you can also just keep if they wanted to, just keep a basic weapon, but just change the effects with each hat.
Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
That's how I would prove it.
Mm-hmm.
Like something to get a little bit more enjoyment from your collecting and all your weapons, or
You
all
could
your
use the water-
Yeah.
from your
You
combat.
could use your watering can, and instead of water coming out, if you're wearing the turkey hat, turkeys come out of your watering can.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Or like I'm using the bald hat. I don't know what would happen, but something would happen. Or the crown hat, right? Gold coins would swing out and do a little bit more
Damn.
range damage.
Be sick.
Yeah,
Nice.
but that's how I would improve. What about you, Genji? What part of this game grinded your gears?
So I was going to talk about the lack of a map and how just introducing a map could have just a little bit more quality of life improvement. However, that's a very simplistic thing to talk about. So I'm going to get into a bit more of the financial aspect of this, which money is one of my huge passions. And the thing that have any of you guys played DLC Quest, the indie game that came out quite a few years ago at this point?
I
DLC
heard of it,
quest?
but I never played it.
Live it every day.
So DLC Quest is very similar to this kind of game where it's like the game's very much a memey, jokey kind of game poking fun at DLCs, and you start off not being able to walk right, you can only walk left, so you collect the coins, so you buy the DLC in order to walk the other way or whatever. It's very much that jokey style game. It's very much like here's an hour and a half or whatever. It's you play it once, you don't play it again, you move on. However, does anyone here want to take a guess at how much DLC Quest costs?
$20.
$5.
$1.
In Australian, in AUD, it's about $3. The catch with this game is, and I hate talking about money in regards to the dollar price because games go on sale all the time, games get reduced. However, talking about it at this point, in Australian dollars, Turnip Boy Commits Tax Fraud is $21.50. Now, I guess that game's gone up over time, but when you compare DLC quest, which is, again, there's not as much to it as this game, but it's $3 for that hour and a half experience, whereas this game, again, an hour and a half, 2.5 hours, $22. It's just, there's a huge difference between the pricing, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to recommend the game for people who might have a bit more limited income, because with lots of other games, I get this is indie, and like bigger studios have a bigger budget, they have more money coming in, bigger appeal, and all that kind of thing. But it just makes it a little bit harder to enjoy the game or get behind the game for the
okay.
price that it is compared to other games of the style that are 90% cheaper than this. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't charge what you feel like is appropriate for the game, because ultimately it was about $10 an hour, which I feel like is pretty reasonable. But then you look at other games of the style where you play it once, you don't play it again, and it's so much cheaper. It just feels not as great, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. So it's like price versus
So,
the quality of the product
yeah.
you're getting.
And the thing is, the quality I feel is quite there, and that's fine. But
it's not worth the price.
if I was to, if I was to say go and play, if I had to go DLC Quest or Turnip Boy, if I was looking at them, DLC Quest is a very appealing option for what the game's trying to do, because they're both very much joking about different things and that, and the memes and the lols and all that kind of thing. But DLC Quest is considerably cheaper and is also a fantastic experience. So, not saying that you shouldn't price games at $22, but pricing is just something that has ultimately, I'm not going to get into scores, but if I was to put it in a column, pricing probably wouldn't be quite as high as some other things.
Dang. All right.
So,
columns.
Nikito, what's the last thing that you absolutely despise about robbing a bank?
I want to touch on what you said about the pricing. Usually, I like to have games like you said, if the developer feels like it's worth that price. At the same time, if you don't have that income, you really want to give the most out of your money. And I hate to do this because it's a game that everyone like references when it comes to price points. And I usually just like let a game stand on its own, but this is a good comparison. And you already know what it is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Toby? Hollow Knight.
Oh God, he's bringing out the Hollow Knight. Dang.
You could get Hollow Knight, which you could have like 40 hours or plus for $15. Better experience, and or you could have a Turnip Boy. You could commit tax evasion for $15 for like 2 to 3 hours. So yeah, I see what you mean. And there's other games I could mention that are also in that ballpark that you get more enjoyment and more time spent out of. But yeah, I would say Genji. I agree 100%. That was like one of the things I have on my list. But to change it up. I'll also like two of the things you and Shai said. I also have my list. I'm just going to touch on what I disliked the most, and that was the backtracking for 100%. Like I did enough because I enjoyed the game and it wasn't hard, but it was so tedious with the amount of fetch quests. For example, that potato family, getting the items for the streamer or the characters like the pickles in a jar is so annoying because you have to go back and forth between like the potatoes. They were like saying, "Here's a letter. Come back to me after you deliver it." And then his son
That's what
is
I was saying. Yeah.
His son is like, "Oh wow." I know his father or father, well, whatever. His older relative is like, "Here, wow, I can't believe it." And then you go back again, and then he's like, "Wow, it's actually real. He's alive." And then you have to go back again, and all this is just to collect the hats.
And it's like the most farthest distance, right, from each other?
Yeah, it's like pretty much the opposite side, south to the north. And so I had to do that. And also the whole pickle thing, I had to look it up. I was like, what? Where's this last like collectible I'm looking for? And it was like the pickle. And the weird thing is the cat doesn't tell you because it's like this one collectible that the cat won't mention after it's gone. So I was like looking around for this thing before I got tired and just looked it up. I really dislike when I have to like look something up in a game. Like I don't know. For me, this takes away the enjoyment. But I like looked it up, and apparently with the pickle, you have to talk to him like 2 times and go in and out to reset, and that's how you get like the last heart piece, and also how you get like a hat. I was like, oh my god, that is so dumb. I would have never figured that out. And then you had like the freaking food deliveries to like multiple times. It's like characters that I thought I talked to again. I can't tell if like I just walked past them because I thought I was done, but for some reason they had like more stuff to do. I'm not sure if it was like post game or something, but it was just so tedious and annoying. Uh yeah. Oh, that's what I disliked. The backtracking. And obviously, how could it be improved? This one is easy. Just have less back and forth or make it easier to teleport between each location to the north, south, west, and east. Like have a central teleporter so it's easier to get around.
Mm-hmm.
And that would solve it. Like I would say, like also incorporate what Genji said with the because you're going at a swift pace. It's like a good power walking, but having the ability to sprint or more mobility to get around, coupled with like teleporters in each regions of the map, would also make it less tedious to backtrack.
Question 5. Final question. What is your final verdict and final rating from 0 to 10 using a 0.5 scale?
All right, final verdict. Turnip Boy, very fun, simple, very nice, haha joke game. Something that felt like a passion project for just someone to make from themselves. What's the studio, right?
The Kazoo.
Newsy Kazoo.
I thought it was one person or.
Oh,
yeah,
like how many people
made this? Yeah,
I do not know off the top of my head.
It's like it just felt like a fun passion project just for someone to enjoy. Very cool on how they just like packed everything in just for give a player a good experience. Turnip Boy, I shall give Turnip Boy a 8 out of 10. It kind of fell off on the game department, on the gameplay department a lot, and all the backtracking. And I mean, it's a fun story game, funny humor, something like quick to enjoy. But having a short game time of like 3 hours, and then
3 hours, that's 100%.
Oh, 100%. And then kind of getting bored really fast to do all this backtracking stuff. That kind of sucks. Especially for the time ratio, the time and fun ratio kind of dwindles down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like if you don't backtrack, you'll have a better experience.
Yeah, like that. It really fell off.
And like Genji said, he said it's a 7-man team, 7-person team.
7-person team, which their top part is we make really, really dumb video games. So, but yeah, 7-person team.
Dumb video games? Make a fun video game? Okay.
Savage.
I'm just kidding. But yeah. I mean, the game was good. And 8's pretty good for a game just to, buy it, enjoy it. Next.
So ultimately, Turnip Boy commits Evasion. I found the game to be funny. I feel like there was a decent little bit of variety of gameplay. I enjoyed the art style. I really enjoyed the accessibility features. I enjoyed the different boss fights. There was some variation to them. The endless dungeon part was cool. However, it does amplify the simplification of the gameplay while there are hats you can get that might change things, or you get things on the train for that run that will make a few changes. The fact that there's no map, there's no running around the map outside of boss fights and price, I was really jumping between the score I'm about to give it and a few points higher. However, every single time I came back to the score I was going to give it, I couldn't justify it only on the basis of its price point, which, as I've already sort of touched on, I don't like to do because there are constant sales for video games and that. There's Game Pass, there's PlayStation sort of subscription, all that sort of stuff. There's so many ways to get games cheaper that it feels gross in some aspect, giving it a score based upon its current price. However, when its price is what is, it makes it very hard to justify anything too hard. So I am going to give Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion an 8.5 out of 10. I think it's a fantastic game if you enjoy the humor and want something that's short, sweet, and you can forget about it in the world of giant open world games of your Zeldas, your Assassin's Creeds, Skyrim from 12 years ago at this point. Having a confined game that is stupid in the fun aspect and you don't have to give it much thought. And that there is a really good thing to be had there. Don't pick it up for $22. $10 would be great, but I think an 8.5 is a pretty reasonable score for what the game is. Nakutsu, how many times have you committed tax evasion out of 10?
I committed tax evasion every day. I never pay my taxes in the game.
Nice.
So, in the game. Just
Okay, okay.
In case anyone's listening.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right,
Playing games.
For when you click this clip?
So, like Shaishin and Genji said, this game has a lot of good stuff. I did find the combat, it was all right. It was like, it made me get a little sleepy sometimes doing the combat.
Oh no.
But it's good. It's fine. You know what? Sometimes you just want to play a game, and I don't always like playing games that's just like save. I mean, I guess you kind of do save the world in this game, but usually a lot of games it's like super open world. It's just nice to play a shorter, confined game. Sometimes you just want to play a game where you can just take it easy. You just don't want to think about it for a little bit before hopping on into something else that has more depth and more substance in it. I still enjoyed the music. The dialogue was funny. And also, I like the watering can, the little puzzles. I wish they actually kind of had more of that. That was the more interesting things incorporating that with the different bosses, which by far were the most enjoyable. If I had to say anything in terms of combat. Overall, though, with the backtracking, the tediousness of doing that, and unskippable cutscenes, and also the price, I agree with Genji. I know price is always going to be like a subjective thing. However, in this economy, there are better choices out there. I'm not gonna name any names, but there are definitely dozens of games that you can find here and there. And also, I got this game on sale for like $6 on PlayStation Plus because since I have PlayStation Plus, there's apparently like a sale going on. So I was like justified in that. I would say if you see this game at half price, that would be the justifiable. I feel like this game should be $5, maybe like $7. Anything more than that, in my opinion, is too much. So I'm going to give this game a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Nice.
Still solid overall. And it's a game that I still enjoy, like despite my issues. I was never like super annoyed at the game, so it's cool.
Sometimes you just want to have sex with bears.
With that said, Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion gets our final average rating of 80% or 24 out of 30. The community, on the other hand, gives Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion a final average rating of 85% or 42.5 out of 50. Do you know, Mr. General J Turnip Boy, what time it is? Do you know what time it is, Genji?
Is it the wheel of mystery?
Yes, the Wheel of Tax Evasion Mystery. Bonus mystery questions were prepared ahead of time by everyone here. No one knows who, what.
Whoa!
We'll be asking the question. Whoa! No one knows, dude. No one knows. So it's time to spin the Wheel of Mystery. Swapping over to the wheel. Spinning the wheel in 3, 2, 1, spin. Oh, frick.
I feel like I don't know why I feel like we have different. Oh, it's me.
Oh,
Hey.
that
Congratulations, Nock. So what is your bonus mystery question?
My bonus mystery question is: if you could make a food-based game about committing an illegal activity, what would it be about?
What is the age rating of this?
Anything you want.
Toxic gossip.
It's up to you.
Okay. All right. Well, we will put the 60-second timer up. for us to think starting now.
Food based. All right. So you guys know the game Papa's Pizzeria,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
and you guys know the game Papers, Please.
I know.
Mhm.
Yes.
So my game would be drug trafficking and money laundering. So, right, imagine this. You're doing Papa's Pizzeria. You're making the pizzeria. You're making the pizzas. You got to put the sauce on the pizza. But this game is rated M for everyone. So there will be people instead of just normal customers, right? Oh, here's your pizza. Here's your pizza. But there'll be customers, specific customers you have to watch out, like Papers, Please, whereas be extremely detailed. So you have your whole order list, and these specific people say, oh, can I get triple ketchup? And that means, can I get an ounce of Coke? So what that means is that you have to go to the back, which is another section of the pizzeria, put the Coke inside the pepperoni of the pizza, put it in the box, and hand it off. So it checks you up on which customers were right and which customers were wrong. But you still have to serve your normal pizzas because the police come and you have to give them the normal pizza and convince them and make good pizzas so you don't get caught. So in the end of the game, and in each round and each day, you have your rating score of suspicion. So it's going to be a whole RPG where you got to check your suspicion. Your suspicion level will go up, but then your money will go up, and then there'll be different gangs that come over and ask you for different supplies and foods. So when the supplies and foods come in, your gang level increases, but your suspicion goes up and down, right? So it goes up and down of how you perform in your pizzeria, because you also have to make good pizzas and you got to complete specific orders for the gangs that you've catered to. But you got to do a good job on the pizza order so your suspicion level of your police meter doesn't go up.
Holy crap.
Done.
It's pretty good.
Nice.
Sounds like a legit game.
Oh,
All right. I like it. How about you, Genji?
Oh, so I had to Google within my country some weird and obscure laws that I would think would be rather interesting. And I came across this. So the woolly bear gourd commits the crime of selling a fridge with a capacity of greater than 42.5 liters with unsafe doors. Now,
Oh,
this is
what?
so in one of the states in my country that I live in one of the states, it is illegal to sell a fridge of a 42.5 liter capacity or greater that has doors that you can't properly open safely in a certain way. So what happens is the woolly bear gourd, which is a vegetable, runs a shop. And within this shop, you have customers. And what will happen is that you have to sell them fridges. However, your goal is to get the customers one-on-one alone. You have a fridge that's unsafe. You open the door, you whack them unconscious, you take their corpse out the back, you chop up their vegetable bodies, and you store them in your fridges out the back, which you then sell your body parts for cash, which you use to fund more unsafe doors. Now, these bodies that you chop up, you sell the vegetable organs to different parts, you sell the seeds to sections, you sell the skins. So you might have couples that come in, so you sell the seeds off to the watermelon mafia, you sell the skins to, the local handbag store where they make handbags made out of apple skin. But you have to successfully keep selling fridges that are safe and unsafe. And if the police go up, you have to guide them to, I don't know what kind, the police might be a watermelon. I don't know. You guide the police to the unsafe doors and you have to try and kill them with the doors. So they don't find out you're selling fridges of a capacity greater than 42.5 liters, and that you're also that they don't find out you're selling the bodies of the vegetables and fruits to different groups around the world.
Dang. My
So
God.
that's the point of Woolly Bear Gourd commits the crime of selling fridges.
Dang. And it's a long title, too.
So, yeah.
Well, we're
Plenty of
really
DLC.
good at this.
You can your microtransactions in the game unlock different vegetables you can kill.
Ah, it's perfect.
So
Brilliant.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what vegetable crimes is your vegetable committing?
Oh, I have Turnip Boy deals drugs like Genji and Shai Shen. I have some.
Turnip Boy deals drugs.
Yeah, but it's all good. It's not all bad. So this game is all about you dealing drugs, selling them on a black market. Also, but the catch is this one is a farming simulator / adventure game. So like there's all these vegetables going around. What if like some of those vegetables they just disappear one day? Since you're part of the mafia, and most of, if not all, drugs are based on plants. So you have cannabis, you have the coca or the cocaine. You have all these different leaves, right? Mushrooms. Hey, I know it sounds dark, but yes.
What's your guys' favorite drugs?
Since you're a part of the mafia, you're killing innocent other vegetables going around. Vegetables that can be used as drugs, and you're using their bodies chopped up as fertilizer to grow actual drugs that people, or I guess in this case, vegetables can smoke. So that's the farming simulator side. You have some simulating with the mafia, selling, doing some bonds and contacting and all that stuff. But over time, as you consume more of these drugs, you also get unhealthy.
Ooh.
And you know what happens when you go unhealthy? You get addicted.
Uh-oh.
And then so this also turns into a horror game. So like how
We're transcending genres.
What a switch up.
Yeah, it's going from a farming simulator to a horror game now. So you're just like a crackhead vegetable turnip
Right.
boy.
Why not? Okay.
You're just hallucinating. You're seeing everything. You're just out here. You know what? It's okay. It'll be okay.
It'll be
as long as you get your rock crack. So yeah, that's my game. Also, yeah, it has a dating
sim element to it
in here.
All right.
Yeah,
There's
always gonna have a dating sim.
Oh yeah. The thing is, Station totally grabbed my idea.
Oh, for
It was gonna be something very similar. So you know what? I'm not making a game anymore. I'm making game DLC for Shai Shen's game.
yeah,
All right.
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I just came up with this on the spot. This is called the Leaky Holes DLC, spelled Leeky. The vegetable. It's very important. So in this DLC, it's kind of like an add-on campaign to your Papers, Please / vegetable version. The year is 2069. The world is in chaos. The world is in chaos. All food at this point is being mass-produced at a tremendous level to keep up with world hunger. In fact, it is illegal to own organic food because the amount of resources it takes to produce organic food is just, it's a detriment to the planet. So, in the Leaky Holes DLC, and that binds to the original game that Shai Shen had, you have this extra layer of watching these suspicious people trying to cross the border. Because what they're trying to do now is they're trying to smuggle organic food in literally every hole in their body. So you have to be very careful. Who knows? Is there a corn on the cob up their butthole? I don't know. Maybe a celery stick in their right nostril? Who knows? Kind of like what Shai Shen was saying. You have to just be able to read these people. You have to understand the psyche of a criminal who's trying to put and bring in these organic foods. Very illegal. So yeah, that's my DLC for Shai Shen's game, Leaky Holes. I'm starting the price at $59.99. What?
Wow, full price DLC.
It's worth it.
Talking about dating sims, like Nikutso said, do you maybe get to date any of these people honey pop style and they send you explicit photos of like corn cobs up their ass?
Yeah, that's gonna be the next DLC.
What the
That's the next part, Genji. We're trying to do we're trying to research, what the people want. The only way the more DLC is going to happen is if people buy this DLC, because that's how we really gauge what people want.
Nice. This is gonna be a good game.
This is a good game. You have a deal. How much was the base game?
Oh, it was only $15.
It'll be fine.
It's actually a Flash game.
Oh shoot. It'll be okay. People will get really pissed off at us for like the first week or two, but people will forget. They always do. Before we conclude this episode, it is time to spin the Wheel of Mystery one more time to determine who will be selecting the next VGBC game. Spinning the wheel in 3, 2, 1, spin. Holy crap.
Hopefully I get chosen.
I
This is
know.
cool.
Oh my god. What's
I got points in
happening?
this
Good
game.
feeling about
Oh
Showstone.
shoot.
A good feeling.
Oh, nice, dude. Congrats,
Can't
congrats.
believe it.
Congrats, gamer.
You would have seen that coming.
All right, Shaishen. What is your VGBC game?
My VGBC game that I'm choosing is called drumroll
Boom.
Soccer Story.
Wait, say it one more time because it can't cut off. One more
Keep
time.
cutting off.
It keeps cutting off.
Soccer Story.
Soccer
Knockers
story.
Knockers.
No, I think it's soccer.
Like,
Soccer Story. Oh,
Okay.
Oh.
Dude, I kid you not. It cut off like two
Really?
times. It didn't want you to
Yeah.
save the game.
it's just-
the sign.
I'm gonna put it in the chat. Woo, Soccer Story.
Okay. Well, there it is. It's official.
That's all right.
It's official.
Yeah.
It's official, okay? VGBC number 52 will be Soccer Story, as nominated by Shaishen. That concludes this episode of Video Game Book Club. Thank you for tuning in, and if you enjoyed this podcast, feel free to like, follow, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Twitch, Spotify, Patreon, whatever platform you can find us on. Links in the description box below. With that said, take care, have a good one, and we will catch you in the next episode of Video Game Book Club. Say goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Pay those taxes, everybody.
Track you down and hear the truth coming straight from you. Never knew where you had run your only son. The child you never knew I could have been so wrong. And the only thing I'm sure I wish I never cared. If you did, you would have.